So we have already taken a very deep look into wave analysis, which is always the first step of price analysis and chart analysis. And now we will take this one step further and make a little bit more sense of charts with the concept of support and resistance. And support and resistance are horizontal levels or horizontal zones on your charts, and they usually mark important turning points, as we will shortly see. So we are starting here on this chart right now, and at first glance it looks very messy and lots of back and forth, up and down, and very hard to make sense of price, but we will soon see how we can improve our chart reading skills by using support and resistance, and later on we can combine that with wave analysis and the other tools as well. So support and resistance basically are horizontal levels where price has previously shown a reaction, and after some practice the levels will stand out very well. You will see them right away when you just look at a chart, but at the beginning this is what you should do. So you look at those important turning points, and in TradingView you will see that you have this crosshair at your mouse button, and then you can use that to see if you get multiple reactions on one area, which means that let's grab our horizontal line tool here at the top, and then we can see already that here seems to be an interesting area in price. So we will mark that on our chart, and then you can see that we have one very important reaction here where price moved into the level from below and then it went lower again. So this is what we call a resistance area, and then we wait until price gets there the next time, which happened here. We see a little bit of an overreaction, which is something that we call a trap pattern or a squeeze, and we will learn that later in the third trading pattern that we use. So here is a trap or crowded trade, and we will explore that in detail later, but it's an important feature of support and resistance that when a level becomes very obvious that they tend to break, and then you have such an overreaction. Then let's look at a few more levels. You can see below this resistance we also have some type of reactions here. So let's grab the line tool here and we mark this area here. So we can see here, if you hold down your shift key, then you get a straight line here in TradingView. And so you can see that this is now more or less a resistance zone that we have on our charts, and not just the pure level, which is also important to understand that price is a very dynamic concept, and very often you have those zones instead of just single lines. And you can see here we have a lot of reactions in this zone, and then later on we will see that once you have a zone and then price comes back to it, we can use our wave analysis to find out when those turning points are, and we can combine all the features that we will learn in this course. Now let's look at the bottom, and at the bottom we call the levels support, where price moves into a level, it finds support, and then it moves higher from there. So you can see at first glance that here is probably some type of an area. So again, we grab our trend line tool. You can also grab the horizontal line tool, it does not matter. And then we combine this swing low here and we extend it forward. Let's do it here, extend it to recent price history. And then let's zoom out a little bit and we can see here we have very strong reaction here, and then the next time price moves into the area again, we have another reaction, and you can already see this is the head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder. And so that's the first indication how we can use that. But it looks like we have a few reactions here ahead of this level. So again, let us draw our zone here. So here is a lot of back and forth actually that could be interesting to note about. You can see here when we zoom out a little bit, we have a lot of highs here in this area. Then here a lot of swing lows, this important dip. Then we move back into this area here and we start this rally. Again, here's probably some type of head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, and the right shoulder. We have some reaction here. Here we came a little bit short, but that is not a big problem. The levels don't have to be too precise, and we later learn how to time such trades as well. And now let's even extend that forward to recent price, and you can see that even now we're coming from this uptrend here and we find resistance in this area, and price is not able to break higher, so important level here as well. And now here are some short-term resistance structures, you can see we just have a double top here, and when you just have two reaction points to one level, that's what we call a double top, and we will later learn more of those local structures. But you can see that they are quite frequent and they will happen over and over again. You have them here as well. We have a swing low. Actually, this is a flip zone, so we can introduce a new pattern, which is also common and very helpful later, as we will see. So you can see that we have this swing high, then price shoots above it, and if we want to take a advanced look and look a little bit ahead, you can see we were in this downtrend. We have a very nice trending structure here, lots of trend waves. Then we have lower lows, lower highs. Then we break the trend line, and in the next videos we will get into trend lines. And then we come back into the level, we retest this level here, the previous swing highs. This is then becoming a flip zone where price previously used the level as resistance. It now becomes support, and then even we see that price is respecting it in the future. We come back into the level multiple times, and then always we start a rally, and you can see how those dots connect very nicely if you know a little bit about local structures and support and resistance. And now let's take a look at another market. We are here and try to make sense of this price action, so let's zoom out and see where we are in the bigger picture. And you can already see that if we just look here, those swing points, they stand out very well. So again, we just connect the first high and then we extend the line forward. And again, you can see we have a very nice reaction here. This is again something that we call double top, where we overshoot this local high. We then make a higher high back into the original resistance, and then we sell off. Again, we have, if we just want to take a look ahead, a local trend line here as well when we connect the lows here. So the trend lines are similar to support and resistance, just that they are not horizontally but a little bit diagonally. And you can see we also have something like a flip zone here. If we just look at this area, we used it as support. The trend line acted as support, we broke it, we came back into it, acted as resistance, and then we sold off and made a new trend structure. And here again, we moved back into the resistance area, and then this is again a trap or a crowded trade, because at that point this level was very, very obvious. Everybody was looking at the level, and then once the level becomes very obvious, then very often you get those overreactions. And now again, we have a local structure. We have this double bottom here. Also, we have this head and shoulders. So although we are just starting out with this course, you can already see how those things very nicely connect together. And then we can use that going forward. Again, we have, just when we look at here, those swing points, and you can see this one was support, it turned into resistance, and now when price breaks here lower, there is a high likelihood that price is again finding support here. So you can see how we can use those levels going forward. Again here, just looking at the swing lows, we can see how they stand out nicely. And even here when we look back a little bit, so when we take the first low, you can see we overshot it here a little bit, nothing too bad. And then here again we have a crowded trade, a trap or a squeeze pattern, whatever you want to call it, which is our reversal or our third reversal trading strategy that we will learn later in this module. And again, we have many local structures, many local levels in between market, in between support and resistance, where you just have a few touches, around 2 or 3, and then you can use this knowledge going forward and use that as a possible reaction points. If you are, for example, now short, once this reaction point breaks, or once this local support level breaks, then you can expect that if price moves lower, you can see some type of reaction here, some type of reaction here. Probably just looking at it, here is another flip zone. You can see here it has been support, it acted as resistance, so there's a good chance that price will again use this level going forward. And so you can use the concept of support and resistance very nicely to make more sense of charts. You can see now that when we started out with a blank chart, it looked very confusing. It was very hard to make sense of it, but already, now that we know a little bit about trend waves, we know a little bit about support resistance, we can already see, and we can already see price action much clearer. And going forward, we will build on this foundation and then step by step arrive at our 3 patterns. And if you have any questions, as always, just go over to our forum, post your screenshots, post your questions. We are very happy to help you out.